Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Engage on UMFM 101.5. We're here today with a super special guest. We're going to be talking to Daniel from Ndinawe. Ndinawe is a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to helping at-risk youth in Winnipeg. They're great at connecting at-risk youth with shelter, culture, recreation, education, and providing them the support that they need for a safe and healthy lives. They have programs that target harm reduction, crisis intervention, and they try to provide stabilization for young people at risk or who are experiencing homelessness, sexual exploitation, family conflict, and mental health crisis. And they, of course, do tons of other work. And we're excited to kind of hear from Daniel and see what this work has been like. So without further ado, Daniel, you can introduce yourself and what your role is at Ndinawe.
Hey everybody, my name is Daniel. I'm the programs coordinator for Tina's Safe Haven, which is one of our 4 sites that Ndinawe is operating currently.
Sweet. And so you've been doing that for how long now?
So I've been Ndinawe for 3 years. I've been their program coordinator for about a year and a half. Previously, I was doing their music program and coordinating that. And so just over the past year and a half, I've been doing the coordinating for the center and developing a little bit more of a shift into more arts programming and trying to get more creative mediums in the center.
Awesome. Yeah, definitely. So what has that been like for you, even if you want to touch on the music one before you became the programs coordinator? Just what has that sort of meant to you throughout this time? You've clearly been there for a while now, so it must mean a big deal.
Yeah, it means a lot to me. I actually utilized a lot of the resources that Ndinawe had to offer when I was a youth. And when I was accessing one of their safe houses for youth, I really started to develop a passion for helping and for wanting to be the change I would see. So it started, for me, I've been very passionate about the work that Ndinawe has been doing for over 15 years, even though I've only worked there for 3. So they help out a lot more than I think people know. And harm reduction is such a valuable thing that Ndinawe values, that we implement that in all of our programming and all of the things that we do, in all of the ways that we help, and everything's a celebration. I'm super fortunate to be able to work there and have the experiences that I have and build the relationships that I have with the youth over the time that I've been working at the center. But yeah, as I said, I've been really passionate about the work that Ndinawe has been doing since I was a youth and utilizing those resources and those spaces myself when I needed a safe space.
Nice. I think that's really important, coming from personal experience, making sure that, these youth have somebody that they're able to relate to, somebody that's come from, like you mentioned, being like a part of their programming before even working there, just having somebody who knows that path and knows that road. So I think that that's super important for the youth. What has it been like for you to be working, so closely to some of these people who are at risk, some of these people who are experiencing, some pre-trails off of colonization still, and people who don't have, supports and access, and how some of the personal experience has been being just so close to the front lines?
Well, it's more life-changing for me ultimately at the end of the day, because I get to see the growth and the change. And as I stated previously, we look forward to celebrating, every single milestone, and they are worth celebrating. A lot of these youth come from very difficult things and have experienced that through their parents and their grandparents as well. So that generational trauma is definitely present within the center. And it's nice to see the growth. It's nice to notice a difference being made. And not just within Ndinawe, but there's so many resources within the community that are doing these wonderful things that I'm super fortunate. I don't know how else to say, I learn more from the youth in so many different ways. And my capacity for that is always growing, because I understand that I'm making a difference, even, just helping somebody register for school. And it's like, oh my God, this is such a big thing. Like, you don't even realize how proud I am of you right now, but it really rubs off on me, and I'm always proud. It doesn't feel like work, and I would implore everybody to really seek out that passion that doesn't feel like work at all. I'm excited to be there. I'm excited to be at work and engage with the youth. And as much as I want to say that I'm there teaching them how to do things, I'm learning more about myself and how I can develop stronger, lasting relationships.
That's really touching. That's really great to hear. It's super awesome to hear we have those supports. I think you said it best. Sometimes youth can be our biggest teachers, and, people that we engage with in that community can be our biggest teachers. So Ndinawe is completely accessible for anybody to come in and just walk in through the doors?
Yeah, so we have different sites that are operating for different purposes. So if I was to speak specifically about Tina's, we operate as a 24/7 safe space, and it's more for youth directed 16 to 24. We do, however, also have our safe house, which is located on Flora, which is more for our younger youth, and that's a place that I accessed as a youth as well. That is there to support and ultimately be a space if you need it. If you don't have a place to be, that's a wonderful space to be in. There's, I remember the first night I stayed at Safe House that, the next day I was, felt a little bit uncomfortable, welcomed with open arms. We were taken to a Gold Eyes game, and it was awesome to see how Ndinawe help the youth when I was a youth. And we also have a safe house right behind Tina's that is more of a assisted living based, where they have their own apartments, and they also have the supports available within their center for whatever their needs are. I do just want to touch a little bit of base about Ndinawe's history. We started in 1993, and it was basically just, like if I was to say it vaguely, it was a bunch of aunties in our community that said they basically felt they had enough with the sexual exploitation that was happening within the community. And so they had enough. They bought a house, and that was the beginning of Ndinawe. And Ndinawe means our relatives' home. And that's really what we are. It's our space for our relatives to come if they need a safe space to be. And so within all four of our sites, I feel like that's our mission statement, is to make our relatives always feel at home within our spaces.
That's such an awesome story and just such a pure motive behind it from the jump. It's amazing. So when exactly did you shift from being in the program to working for the team?
So it would have been a decade. I was accessing their shelter space for youth as a youth. And then, I grew up, from 15 to 26, 27 when I started working for them. It was always what I wanted to do. And eventually I specifically reached out to Ndinawe and I said, this is what I want to do. Like, this is where I want to be. These are the youth. This is what I want to do with my life to help and make a difference. How can I do it? And they said, drop off a resume. And 3 years later, I'm still present, still able to be there, and I feel very honored because I've always been recognized for the hard work, just like we do with our youth. I've always felt, it's such a great place to work. Our staff, our operations team are amazing, and they go above and beyond for our youth, and exceptionally, the same exception for our staff as well. So I've been there now 3 years. It was a decade before I did go back to Tina's and to Ndinawe and start working for them.
All right. And have there been many barriers for getting this type of work done? Just obstacles coming up to slow down the work in some way?
Well, I definitely, I would say colonization plays a big part in a lot of barriers for a lot of nonprofits and a lot of other resources in the communities. But as far as, I speak so highly of Ndinawe because I do know that even whenever there has been some sort of barrier, they've always overcame, and it's always been wonderful to see that, even if I was going to talk about, COVID as being a barrier, that was a really big hurdle that we had to jump. And this might be answering another one of your questions you might be asking later, but I feel it fits, especially with this, that, we're always going to experience barriers in our lives, and we're always going to experience barriers in our workplaces, and with how things are going to operate sometimes. But I've always noticed and respected the staff at Ndinawe, their ability to overcome and to achieve. So with COVID, we had to shift our entire programming from in person to online, and what was that going to look like, and how was that shift going to take place, and what type of content were we going to create that was going to engage. So it really started off slow, and we started to figure out a little bit more. I did. You can find them all on our Facebook page on Ndinawe, or for Ndinawe. I have several music videos that we did to engage, fun facts, history videos, some music tutorials, how to play some different songs as well. And then we started focusing on what we could do online and how we could have that online presence, because we know that that's going to be something that is not going to go away anytime soon. So we're working towards creating more of a virtual presence. An actual website is sort of in the works as of right now. It's more of a conversation piece, but we're hoping to have an entire space online where you can access different cultural teachings, different music teachings, explore different art mediums, and have different tutorials right there online for you to explore and to learn with your own hands, right? But that was just one of the hurdles and barriers that I've experienced working with Ndinawe, and we've overcame in so many different ways. I genuinely, just being so passionate about my work, I could go on for literally hours about all of the different wonderful things that we're creating. I just spent the last 3 months building a professional sound booth with an amazing sound engineer in Winnipeg, Derek Benjamin. He came in, he's volunteered his time to help us build this wonderfully amazing studio, and we spent about another $7,000 on recording equipment. So as soon as more restrictions ease and we're able to get our youth back into that studio, we're going to be creating a lot of art, and videos are going to be something that we continue to do for an online presence, because like I said, we know it's not going to go away. We know that COVID is going to play a big part in the next chapter of our lives, so we're rolling with it, so to speak.
That's super great to hear. That's awesome that you guys have overcame that. So kind of like, obviously the challenges came, but just to see that everybody came in and came together to put those things together, that's awesome to hear.
So you seem like you've really got it figured out at the moment. These restrictions are a barrier in themselves, and through this time you've been able to still get a lot accomplished, and you still seem to have a plan to do even more, like when they're all gone, hey?
Oh, absolutely. We're just in the middle of planning a skateboarding camp that's going to be starting beginning of September 1st. We're going to be starting our first. We just had 15 full complete skateboards, or 13 full complete skateboards and helmets donated generously by Incline Sports. It's a gentleman by the name of Matthew Klein who did that to deserve the skateboard, and he's developed this charity to donate skateboards to the community, and we received some, so we look forward to starting that in September, and that'll be one of our first actual programming things that we've been able to develop over the last few months to start doing with some of our youth, and actually getting to do things with our youth again. So it's very exciting to get back to work and not just be pedaling away at videos in an office, or not getting to have the engagement that you ultimately want.
That's incredible. Wow. That's so needed for youth, just to have that space, the resource, and the things that provide them. That things like myself, when I was younger, I was a skateboarder, and as well, me and Josue, we both do music. So I think it's just like, it's incredible to know that there's these resources for youth that might not have access to these things. Like we had 393 on Studio 393, which provides, free resources. And that was something that helped us. And I just also want to touch back a little bit on, commending that personal growth you spoke on for yourself, that personal kind of journey for yourself. And, it seems that, you yourself have really grown through a lot of things, and really like gotten yourself to a place where you're now these supports for the youth. And I just want to, from your perspective, why do you think it's important for these youth to have a kind of support like you, or a support like that? Like, why is that important for these youth?
I just think that we need to have more leaders in our communities, and so I champion our youth to be the leaders in our community. And as I said before, it's important that you are the change that you wish to see in the world, and I think it starts with leadership and with promoting positive leadership, creating that positive space where you have the ability to lead as well as follow at the same time. So for me, being in a position that I would say I'm in a leadership position with Ndinawe, I value that wholeheartedly. I value the opportunities that fall at my feet because of it. And I know, and I genuinely feel in my heart that if we can promote leadership in just such a simplistic way, and show more people that it's so important that, if you feel that something is wrong, find a way to make it right, and set that positive example, and set the bar for others, that are in your life, and allow them to exceed your expectations as well. So my personal growth all just comes from, I love my job, and I'm so happy to do my job and to be there, because I get to watch the youth growing is what allows my growth. It allows me the ability to notice the change is important, and being present is important, because establishing the relationships and the connections with the youth are what allow you to be that leader, and I mean, especially in the North End, or in a lot of tougher communities anywhere in the world. One of the things that you'll notice is if you're not willing to give respect how you want to give it back, you're not going to get that respect. And so showing leadership and showing that it's important to lead sets a bar in a different way for our youth. And I know that question is more about my personal growth, but I think my personal growth just comes from watching the youth learn how to lead and watching them see, what are the staff doing differently than I'm doing, and making an effort to make that change. That's the motivation for I think any staff at Ndinawe to be there, be present every day is that growth. The personal growth comes from watching all of the other growth within the center and exploring that growth.
That's incredible to just know about the environment, and just incredible to know that these things are here.
Yeah, and a lot of people that aren't familiar with Ndinawe, like Kate had said, we do a lot for the community, and it's not just for those that possibly may be struggling. There's culturally based activities for those who are wanting to explore their identity. There are recreational activities to meet all sorts of different hobbies and interests. And if you are interested, that's what our resources are available for. If you want to be a musician, you don't have the resources, please come and check out our space and utilize our music room. We have like 10 guitars, 10 acoustic guitars, electric guitars, bass guitars, 2 drum sets, 2 keyboards, a music studio that's just about finished for us to be able to record in. And there's so many opportunities for anybody who's interested in learning more about what we do. Please check out our website, check out what we're doing in our social media. And if anything catches your eye or catches your ear, please connect with us so that we can tell you a little bit more about what we're doing and get you involved.
What's the best way that our listeners could support Ndinawe as a whole, support the various programs that you have going on?
Well, there's so many different ways that nonprofits can be supported in the community. Donations are always accepted. However, that's way above my pay grade. I wouldn't even be able to tell you how you could donate to Ndinawe. There's always possibilities to volunteer. We're always interested in having volunteers, and people come learn more about our space just by taking part and helping. We also take part in Home Depot's Project Orange Doorway every single year, and Home Depot donates about $150,000 a year to various programming and things that are happening within Ndinawe. So feel free, if you're shopping at Home Depot, to always donate there as well. But if you do want to support Ndinawe, and that there are youth in the community that you feel could benefit from some of the things that we are offering, please don't hesitate to connect with myself or with anybody at Ndinawe and ask more questions.
Is there any particular upcoming news or events that you have in mind that you'd like to promote a little?
So we do have, like I had said, we do have our skate camp starting for our youth ages 10 to 15. That's starting September 1st. We still are accepting registration for that currently, and I look forward to seeing all the youth that are going to be coming out. We're going to be having some sponsored skateboarders come out once a week, and at the end of our camp, we're going to have a fun little celebration, some food, little skate demo at the Edge Skate Park. And yeah, you know what? There's so much going on. I love to promote everything. I don't think I have much more time to promote much of anything, but please do check us out online and connect with us if you have any questions.
And you guys are on all social medias, right? Like everyone listening can just follow you guys?
Yeah, so our social medias are relatives' homes. So you can find that on Instagram. I believe our Facebook is just Ndinawe. So you can find us just by searching Ndinawe. You would be able to find us in any social media sites.
Awesome. Yeah, go and follow them. Anybody who's listening, support them because they're doing incredible work. And one thing that we like to do before we have our guests leave, we love to get a song that they might want to play after the episode airs. So if off top you had a song that you would like to play or have played after this episode, then we'll have that as well show up on radio.
Yeah, sure. There's a local artist whose name is Riel. He just released a song not too long ago that he worked on with Sebastian Gaskin called Terrified. It's a wonderful song about domestic violence. If you guys would share that song, it's always good to support local.
100%.
Yeah, we love Sebastian. He's been an incredible musician here in the city. I'm excited to hear Riel too. That's the first time I'm hearing of his name. So really excited to hear that.
I was just at Sebastian's house on Saturday at like 10 in the morning listening to his new album that's yet to be released. So that's exciting. He's developing some amazing stuff.
No doubt. Can't wait to hear some of that for sure. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to come and tell us a little about Ndinawe and yourself. Really appreciate it. It's been awesome.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. And I apologize to any listeners if I did ramble on. I love my job, and I do hope that you guys enjoyed listening and learning more about Ndinawe. Thank you so much for listening, and again, take care, be safe.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right, you guys.
Thanks so much, Daniel.
Yeah, you guys have a wonderful day, and take care. Talk to you later.
Yeah, you too. Really support the work you're doing. We're really excited to see what comes next.
Thank you very much, you guys.
And this has been Engage on 101.5 with Kate Jones and Josue Devi, hosted by UMFM. That was a great conversation with Daniel. Please make sure to check out our previous episode, which will be coming up next. And this was last week. We had Synonym Art Consultation with Chloe Chafon. And so we had a very good conversation, and we hope you enjoyed today's conversation. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.